Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meta Talks, an initiative by MetaGate Summit to explore the vast world of the metaverse and immersive technologies. I'm Lara Daoud, founder of EU MENA Events, the company behind this initiative and what we hope to be a groundbreaking concept within Saudi Arabia's digital landscape. Today, we will be having a unique episode where we will explore the dynamic intersection of Turkey's ICT landscape and the metaverse. Joining us is a true expert in economics, Dr. Hakan Yurdakul. Holding an MBA in International Relations and PhD in Business Administration, Dr. Hakan has held significant roles in the Turkish government, including Head of Economy Monitoring and Coordination, Committee of Economic Policies Board Member, and more. Hoş geldiniz Hakan Bey, nasılsınız?
Hoş bulduk, merhaba. I'm very well, how about you?
All is good. Hakan Bey, before we get started, I would love to give you a moment to introduce yourself to our audience. Could you share a bit about your background, please?
Of course. I have been working for the Turkish Presidency office for the last 8 years, and before that I had been working in ICT, software and the finance industries. In fact, I had been living in Saudi for 4 years between 2011 and 2015. And before that, I worked in different countries in the same industries, I mean, finance and ICT. And for the last 8 years, as I said before, I have been working for collaboration, cooperation, growth of the Turkish economy with other countries and societies.
Thank you, Hakan Bey. We're truly honored to have you with us today. Hakan Bey, considering that the metaverse is an evolution, a phenomenon that business leaders should not ignore, how do you think Turkey's ICT sector will play a role in the development and integration of the metaverse? And in your opinion, what are the specific strengths or abilities that Turkey brings to this new technology?
Before starting, it may be better to define metaverse and about what is metaverse and what is not metaverse. To be honest, metaverse is not a virtual real estate development environment, okay? And secondly, metaverse is not a cloning of what's going on real life environment also. Metaverse, in fact, is a infrastructure and superstructure to some extent to enable the things to interact with each other. So we are talking about the infrastructural thing. So we should understand from that point of view what Turkey can provide and can offer, can do in that new environment, new infrastructure. From a historical point of view, the mankind experienced different industrial revolutions, and the last one was about the internet, as you know, and internet makes people, communities, and the countries to interact with each other without borders, but again from a physical point of view. And that new infrastructure called as metaverse highly likely will represent another industrial revolution in the mankind history, because not only without any borders, also without any physical needs, the entities, different type of entities, will interact with each other and will develop together something, will produce added value for all mankind. So it's an interesting thing. Metaverse is an interesting thing, and for the countries, for all countries, including Turkey, the question related with metaverse is something like that. I believe in that. How will you integrate, align, compete with others in your expanding and mixing journey by existing in this new environment, metaverse? Technology by itself is just a tool at the end. By saying technology, in fact, we are talking about business manners, business language, business culture, and I believe in that. I strongly believe in that. Turkey, in her expanding and meeting with others journey, I'm talking about especially for the last 25 years of Turkey, is able to bring her own business and interaction culture covering interequal, non-hierarchical, non-discriminating, and so rights and responsibility sharing communication way. It means for both Turkey and also for the metaverse itself, more distributed and fair sharing ways, briefly liberating business models for all of us. And it will cover all the technologies like health technologies, finance technologies, education technologies, trade technologies, and also social interaction. From an economic point of view, Turkey is the cheapest member of OECD countries regarding to software developer wages. This is important. And also, Turkey has been experiencing a booming term regarding to number of startups and also in a very intense integration process with the countries and societies, especially in MENA, CIS, Sub-Saharan, and to some extent Eastern Europe regions. And with this geo-cultural position, not geologistic, geo-cultural, from a historical point of view, from a cultural point of view, to access the others, we'll see, I believe that we'll see a lot of activities regarding the metaverse in Turkey.
Definitely. Thank you, Dr. Hakan. Your insights from an economics and policy perspective are indeed refreshing. Speaking of policy and given your extensive experience in the Turkish government, could you elaborate on any strategic initiatives or policies Turkey is implementing to leverage its ICT infrastructure in embracing the metaverse? And how do you think these efforts will affect various industries?
I think being ready for metaverse environment to this new infrastructure means to be digitalized enough. And in Turkey practice, in Turkey experience for the last 25 years, we have some specialized entities just for digitalization, just for enhancing the communication, just for developing of the technology, and also some places like technopark zones and some other entities just to support this progress in favor of Turkey and also the others. And when we are talking about the government, what exactly government is doing regarding to accelerating that technology progress, we have a document, a formal document of the government called as the medium-term program covering to 2024 and 2026. And this is in fact a planning document about what the government will do in the near 3 years term regarding the technology. And in this document, we can easily say that clear statement from the government side as defining the digital transformation with the development such as Internet of Things, big data, 3D printers, machine learning, and other things. The digital technologies will become more and more significant in production, manufacturing, and the competitiveness of the countries. So the government itself already stated that this is very important area from an economic point of view, yes, not from a tool or engineering point of view, from an economic point of view. And so it is aimed to develop the infrastructure, the communication infrastructure, and the technology development progress of Turkey from government side. But on the other side, in this document, the threats related with the technology, I am talking about the cyber threats, so cybersecurity is also mentioned as a threat. So we are seeing a balanced approach in that document, also targeting the technology progress, but also trying to protect citizens and the other assets and entities from cyber threats. And the target of this 3 years program are, it may be valued to mention also these things, strengthening electronic communication infrastructures, disseminating new generation network infrastructures, developing qualified R&D human capital in priority sectors and areas, and increasing competency in technologies for digital transformation, improving the capacity and capabilities of companies, especially small and medium enterprises, because they are representing the 90-something% of the whole economy, also for Turkey and for also the other countries. And establishing support and effective mechanisms to reach financing and cybersecurity, especially the public services related with digitization is mentioned, especially. Why? Because the digitization in the public services means more welfare for citizens. It is the aim, it's the existence reason of the government to some extent. And secondly, it's a role model for the private industries as a role model, and also to push them, to encourage them to produce more competitive and things like that. So at the end, I'm very sure that the government is aiming to develop the infrastructure, ICT infrastructure and superstructure also. And so it's also safe for metaverse environment itself.
Very good. It's clear that Turkey has made impressive progress in technology. And moving on, how do you see the intersection of the metaverse and Turkey's openness to tech adoption impacting economic growth and innovation, specifically in sectors like education, healthcare, and commerce?
Before that, it may be better also to define where Turkey is regarding to ICT production. And when we look at the international trade figures of the Turkey, unfortunately, we see trade deficit in both ICT goods, I mean the hardware, and also ICT services, software. To some extent, we can understand the trade deficit in ICT goods, I mean hardware, because you need scale for hardware. So some countries in the Far East, because of their scale and because of their very cheap labor force, things like that, they are producing everything for all over the world, including for Turkey. But for ICT services, I mean software, the current situation, I mean the trade deficit itself is not a good thing for Turkey. So why it's not a good thing? It's not a good thing because it's a deficit. And secondly, Turkey has enough number of software developers and a mixed-sized market, and a lot of support mechanisms from the government side, from technoparks to other incentives and support mechanisms. I believe in that. In maybe not in near term, but in mid term, Turkey will produce a trade surplus in the ICT services. Also, just to mention the Turkey position about the ICT industries. Regarding the relation between the technological development and the economic growth, yes, there's a very great big positive correlation between the economic growth and technological development, and it's very important because the technology brings profitability, efficiency, so it affects growth positively and accelerated the process also. And up to now, we didn't also see the outputs of the artificial intelligence technologies. We will see in the near term, highly likely in a lot of different areas, and that progress will be accelerated, and that growth because of that usage of AI technologies will be more and more by day by day. This is the economic growth part of the thing, and it's also affecting all sub-industries, all sub-technologies, as you stated, education, healthcare, e-commerce, things like that. And Turkey has muscles, and at the end of the story, I mean in midterm, Turkey will prove that they have enough ability, experience, and experience human resources for having a trade surplus. I mean, for an added value to mankind, also to the country. One thing we should also mention about that progress, including the metaverse itself, the positive correlation that I mentioned between growth and the technological development is true, but on the other side, we are experiencing a negative correlation between employment and technological development. Why? Because of the enhancements, because of the technology and other things, we are seeing losing the traditional jobs. I mean, with AI especially, we will see in the near term, most of the traditional jobs will be dismissed. So we should also think about that issue, and we should also try to find some solutions. But I don't think it will be a great problem because in the previous industrial revolutions, the mankind had been experiencing same problems. I mean, unemployment and other stuff, and they solved, and we will solve that issue again. So from that point of view, things will be what we will do regarding to supporting the employment will be very important. At the end, consequently, Turkey's openness to technology, the current openness, will accelerate the expansion of metaverse. I believe that in Turkey and in the neighboring regions, maybe not in short term, but I'm very sure about the midterm and long term.
Thank you, Dr. Hakan. Great insights. Now, with the rapid advancement of technology and as we transition into this digital era, cybersecurity and data privacy, as you mentioned before, are critical concerns and of utmost importance. In your view, how is Turkey positioning itself in terms of cybersecurity and governance to ensure a safe and trustworthy environment within the metaverse, especially considering its growing role as an infrastructure and distribution channel?
Firstly, we should mention a very natural tension between big, giant technology companies and the governments by definition. What is that? Giant technology companies are looking for scale, for cost efficiency, and also for other stuff, which means from a security point of view, to establish their data centers in a few places all over the world. But on the other side, governments, national governments, tend to protect the privacy and the other assets of their citizens. So, by definition, by their role, they are pushing those big giant technology companies to keep or to establish their data centers in their own country and without any illegal interaction with the other countries, things like that. So there's a tension. From a technology point of view, in fact, it's possible to solve this kind of conflicting positions problems. I mean, from a technology point of view, these data centers can easily be limited with a few number all over the world, and also can offer some encryption mechanisms for the governments and to satisfy them about protecting their citizens' private data, things like that. But to do it, it's not. We don't need only technology. We have the technology, but we have also we also need an international trusted body. Okay, and what a pity, as we can see in the current crisis, conflicts in Gaza, Palestinian, the current international bodies are not operating even in very traditional conflicts, and we cannot hope they will be operative in this kind of new technology-related conflicts. So, in short term, I don't think there will be a solution. There will be a tension between the national governments and also those giant technology companies, and the responsibility, because they are the owner of the job, the responsibility will be those giant companies, and I am very sure they will develop their own solutions to satisfy the government, because they need to satisfy the government, or the governments will narrow the bandwidth easily, or just turn off the things easily, so they will not operate. So they will find, I'm very sure they will find a lot of different solutions about that issue. And we also should underline the need of a balance between power and legitimacy also in technology. It's very important. So sometime, not in near term, there will be an agreement between governments, and these kind of efforts will be supported by non-profit organizations like the Metaverse Association in Turkey, and it's an international body as far as I know. So this kind of non-profit organization activities will be important to encourage and to convince the governments to do something about that solution. But up to that solution, I'm very sure, I'm saying again, Metaverse and the other infrastructural elements will find their own ways, because at the end we are talking about business, money, and interaction. So everything is possible if you have enough money.
Definitely. Great insights, Hakan Bey. Now, to wrap up what has been a value-packed episode, let's talk about the upcoming MetaGate Summit set to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2024, which is bringing together top executives and companies from around the world to discuss the value of Metaverse for businesses. And we're expecting actually the involvement of leading Turkish tech and Web3 companies who are already venturing into the metaverse. Now, considering the international participation from regions like North America, Africa, Gulf region, Asia, and other corners of the world, it's clear how events like MetaGate Summit can be key platforms for builders and regulators to work together. In your opinion, how important are events like MetaGate, not only for companies, but also for facilitating collaboration and on a governmental and international scale?
I think this event is important first to understand what is going on, what Metaverse is proposing to mankind and companies and the governments. Plus that real estate business, forget it, and also cloning what's going on in real life, also forget it, please. What is really going on? We will have an understanding at the end of this event. This is the first thing that we need to mention. And secondly, this kind of events also provide an environment to discuss and then to reach a mutual agreement of companies and regulators, governments. So it will be very important because to have an agreement, okay, we need to discuss, we need to see each other, what they are doing. And lastly, hence the business life is all about networking in private business, private environment or business environment. It doesn't matter. It's all about networking and sharing. I strongly believe in that event will create some opportunities for the attendees from government side or the company side for a better networking about what the others are doing and how we can collaborate with them, what we can do with them, things like that. So we are talking about, as the last thing, about developing your own network. Briefly, I can recommend to attend this event not only for the companies having or planning a presence in Metaverse, but to all companies for a better understanding of this new infrastructure, because it seems it will take time to have a really operating Metaverse globally. And we need time in not short term, I'm saying again, but you should be ready for the future. This is more or less the future. So just because of that, without any presence in the Metaverse, it may be a good idea just to understand and just collaborate with others about the Metaverse itself.
Thank you, Dr. Hakan, and we look forward to having you during MetaGate Summit in Saudi Arabia. Now, before we wrap up, is there any advice you would like to share with our audience?
Sometimes we, especially the engineers or the founders of these kind of things, tend to define technology as a very sophisticated and very hard to understand thing, which is not true. Technology at the end of the story is just to utilize the things in a better way, in a more profitable way, in a more shareable way, things like that. From that point of view, we should remember that at the end, the opportunities come only to those who are ready. Okay, this is very important. Not because of Metaverse is a shining trend, not because of your competitors, your company's competitors are doing something or planning something to do in Metaverse, and also not because of presence in Metaverse makes you more technologically brilliant, wise, or shining thing. It's a good idea to attend to that event. These the things that I can leave cannot be a reason for you. What's the reason? So why you should attend or you should follow up what's going on in the technology side, just because you as a company, as a government, or as a private individual body, you need to understand how this infrastructure can be utilized in your own growing journey. This will be important. And I think this is the only reason that you need, and this is the only thing that you should listen to. Forget the trends, forget the shiny things. You better to know what's going on if you want to find some opportunities for your own self. This is the last thing that I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hakan, for sharing your advices and your invaluable insights today. I'm sure your words will truly resonate with our audience. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us and for being a part of MetaTalks community. Keep your eyes on our social media at MetaGate Summit and our website, www.metagatesummit.com, as we have some great announcements coming your way in the next few weeks. Until next episode, see you.